Hello, everyone. This week I had some people asking me about item types, what they are for, what would you do with them. Well, you can basically use item types to put data on any object. So one of the things that I could show or demonstrate is let's say I had to place some diesel fuel supply piping. So then if I came along and started drawing, you know, some diesel fuel lines around my facility. And what would I know about this if I was just doing CAD? Well, I'd know that it was diesel fuel supply from the level that it's on. It's 4 segments, and the total length is 125 feet. But what if I wanted to know more about that, or I wanted to report more information about that, like maybe the time it was installed or the material, that type of thing? Well, what I could do is attach an item type to it, and then I can report on it. So, where would item types, how do I even get to that thing? Well, there's a couple places here in the drawing main menu. If I go to attach, you notice over here is item types, and that's also here under content is item types. But I'm going to go over here to attach because that's kind of where I like to play around with. And if you hit on the little arrow key, you can get into item types. I'm going to shrink the ones that are being delivered through DGN libs, and I'm just going to create one in this file. What I could do is create an item type uh, in a DGN lib, and then set it available to everything and every drawing in my project. But for just this demonstration purposes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new item type in this file, and I'm going to call it pipe properties. But that isn't the thing that you're going to be attaching. That's just the item type library. So maybe that should have been called something different. I'm just going to call this pipes. And then when I click on this, here's the new item type. And this is what I'm going to call pipe properties. And what kind of information. So this is where you got to start thinking about what data is important to you. I mean, I can get total length from the length of the string, but maybe I can't get when it was installed, or who did the work, or if there's a warranty on it, or just about any other property that you could ever think of. So what I'm going to do is click on New Property, and this is just going to be a text property, and I'm just going to call this material. And if I put in there material, then I can also come in here and show you that what else could I put in? I could also put in another one for gauge, and I can put in another one for uh, manufacturer or whatever. Or whatever other information you might ever want to keep track of. So you notice that there are different numbers or different types of item types. There's text, number, integer, true, false, date, time, and point. So, maybe if I had one in here that was a new property definition for installation, that would be, instead of text, that would be a date. And then you can show the format, and maybe I don't care so much about uh, the the format's going to be whatever today's date is, but there should be a setting here, I would think, for how it's going to display. Default value, let's see, we just want a date. I don't think that's where you'd set that. There must be another way of setting how you want to display that information, which you can limit it, I think, with the the attributes. So we got a material, we got a gauge, we got a manufacturer, and we got an installation date. What other things are in here? There's number, integer, true, false, and point. For the most part, I think most of them will probably end up being text. But number could also be another important one. So if you're trying to do calculations with it, you'd probably want to use either number or integer depending on what items you're talking about. So anyway, I've created this item type, and then I'm going to save it, and now it's available to me. If I look at the properties, my pipe doesn't have any of that information. So what I have to do is come over here to attach item, and notice that my pipe properties is available to me. I turn that on, and maybe I say this one is steel pipe, 12 gauge, and manufacturer is maybe American copper. And, well, it wouldn't be, let's just call it American steel, because it wouldn't be American copper doing steel. So then, if I just want the date, I think I can strip that off and I can put in whatever date I really want in here. So maybe this was done on April 8th. And now when I attach that property to this object, and I look at its properties, now I have that information down here. So this information is attached now to that property. You can attach item types to cells, you can attach them to just about any object inside of MicroStation. So it's kind of a really handy tool that takes you away from just thinking everything is CAD and start reporting on actual data and make it more BIM centric or more BIM information type of thought processes. So it really makes the software a lot more powerful when you add data to the objects that you're talking about.